Hi there, it's Mary Jane here again. I didn't go away. I got busy learning about some new projects with art with Deep Space Sparkle, which I belong to. And I took a course called Creative Juices in February and March, and I am having so much fun with this course, and I thought I would share some of the projects that I've learned about with you. I'm not doing exactly the same projects as we did in the course, but I'm adapting the project techniques and things. So this one, we started out with a full sheet of watercolor paper. Now this is a pretty big sheet of watercolor paper. It's student grade watercolor paper. You could use a smaller sheet, but it would be best if it isn't a square. It works better if it's a rectangle, and you just divide the rectangle in half, probably 8.5 by 11 or 9 by 12, or I think this is a bit bigger than that. You can tell by my my sheet of measurement numbers underneath how big this is. It's a big sheet. So I'm painting with cool colors. Now cool colors are colors like blue and different blues and purples and grays that have a little bit of blue in them, or browns that have a little bit of blue in them, but we're not using any brown right now. We're using blues and purples to put down cool colors. And then I decided to add some warm green along the bottom because I was thinking about this being a sort of sky, but doesn't really have to be a sky, and the green will be a bit of a ground. So the green I'm using is not a cool color, it's more of a warmer green because I think it has quite a bit of yellow in it. So there, that's a bit of a warm green. Both of those greens are kind of warm, but it's kind of fun to see what the colors will do. Now you could use acrylics for this project, but if you did that, you could use a couple of blues, maybe some blue with white and some dark blue, and then kind of mush it around, paint it across. Just let it dry. Don't fiddle with it too much, just paint a flat color. Or you could use tempera paint. You wouldn't get this watercolor effect, but you could just paint with a couple of blues and a couple of greens along the bottom, and you would have a similar effect. It's really not going to matter that much. So we're doing one half this project, and then I will continue with part 2 of this project. So, I put salt on it to add a little bit of extra texture. So that's the end of this part of the project. And then it was time to turn the sheet around and paint with warm colors a bunch of circles. We're going to make these circles into flowers using a Sharpie pen. But first of all, we are going to paint with our watercolors or our tempera paints or our acrylics. We're going to paint circles. And this is speeded up, and I want you to take your time when you do this and enjoy it. And then it was time to add the details with a Sharpie marker. So I was thinking about daffodils. They have pointy petals, and they have a center that has a jaggy edge. It's like a little jaggy edge in the middle. And tulips are like a U with a line across the top, and you can make a straight line, or you could make it jagged petals like I did here. And here's another daffodil. So I was thinking about springtime and all the flowers that are coming out around the neighborhood. I'll bet there are flowers in your neighborhood too. Yep, I bet you. Pretty soon the tulips will be coming out too. Vancouver is very beautiful in the springtime. It's one of my favorite times of the year. So I'll just stop talking and let you listen to the music and watch me put my pen to the paper and make flowers. You can invent flowers, make any kind of flowers you want. pretty soon I was pretty much finished. And when that was dry, and it dries pretty quickly when it's a Sharpie, it was time to cut them out. So I speeded up this movie so you can see me cut them out really fast. And pretty soon I had a pile of flowers and some scraps. And I took the scraps and I made some stems. No, not stems, but yeah, stems. Straight stems. Some were a little crooked, but didn't matter. So pretty soon I had a pile of stems, a pile of flowers, and a few leaves to work with. And then I took my other half with the watercolor painting on it and I folded it in half. And I tried to get a nice creased edge. And then I folded it to the center. I should have folded it the other way, but that was all right because I fixed that in the end. And pretty soon we were ready to glue our flowers down. So then it was time to glue our little concertina together. We're making a garden of flowers, and the first thing we do is paste down the stems. White glue is the best thing to use when you're gluing watercolor paper onto watercolor paper. A glue stick would not work that well. And you need a fairly sturdy watercolor paper for this project in order for it to be able to stand up. You could use good quality drawing paper. Better would be card stock, a card paper, but watercolor paper is really the best choice for this project. Regular paper out of the photocopier would not be able to stand up very well. Although you could do it. You could do it if you're, yeah, you could, I suppose. I should try and make some and see what happens. Anyway, I was gluing them down and thinking about giving lots of room for my flowers so that they didn't land on a fold, because you don't want your flowers to land on a fold when you paste them down. So you see there, I'm placing the stems down. One at a time. I'm taking my time and enjoying. It's kind of fun to glue things, don't you think? And take your time. And then I took a little bit of my scissors and I gave a wavy line to the top of my picture. Do you notice that I forgot that I was using grass as a base? I've got the grass up high, so it really doesn't matter. I turned it a different way than I wanted to do it in the first place, but I wasn't thinking, and it looks okay. It looks great, even if it is a warm green behind the warm flowers. So then I was thinking, how am I going to arrange them? So give yourself time when you do this to figure out how you want to lay your flowers down. You might not want to use all of them. I just took my time. And then I speeded it up for the gluing part so you can listen to the music. And pretty soon, I had it all glued together. And pretty soon, it was going to be time to add the details to make this really magical and fun. So now it was time to add details, and I put away my other markers. I don't think you have those kinds of markers, so we'll stay with a Sharpie to add some leaves and little touches to this creation that we've made. Now, yours is going to look completely different from mine, and I really hope it's completely different than mine. It'll be yours, and your flowers will be your flowers. They won't look anything like mine. You might even want to put some bugs in there, maybe a worm or two, or maybe a butterfly. But right now, I was just trying to show you what it would look like if you put some black details. Now, you might have regular regular markers, not necessarily Sharpies, but like crayons would work, colored pencils would work to add green leaves if you wanted, or any other color that you wanted to add. I was just using a Sharpie because I thought it looked nice against the colors of the background. But you might not have a Sharpie. So if you have a crayon or a colored pencil, you can add details to your flowers and your leaves and your stems. And you could add more stems. You could add some more flowers at the bottom. You could add a little bee or a bug or two. So I was just making shapes with my marker. Lines and leaves, leaf shapes, kind of pointy, and I made a little flower there. I was just having fun and not really thinking too much about it. This would be a nice card to give to a special friend or someone that you love very much. Like whoever gives you your breakfast in the morning, whoever toasts your toast for you, or gives you a bowl of cereal in the morning, who would that be? Or maybe you do that yourself. Anyway, just make it for yourself and put it in your bedroom in a special place, or put it in an envelope and mail it to, maybe you have a grandmother or an aunt or an uncle that you like. You could send them this beautiful little thing. You could fold it up and put it in an envelope. So we're almost finished. I hope you have enjoyed this project. I really have enjoyed it. I've made about 10 of these so far. I'm having so much fun. I made one with animals, with a bear and a wolf and a moose in a forest. I've seen some made with buildings and cars. You could use them for all kinds of projects. Houses, pictures of. You could do collage. You could. Anyway, here I am. I have a white Posca pen, which has white acrylic ink inside it. So I was dotting it. You can't see the dots very well because they soaked right into the watercolor paper. The Posca pen works better against acrylic paint. It won't sink in. It's sinking into this paper, kind of disappearing. But I still made the dots because I like to make dots. You might like to make dots too. And maybe I should have made some black dots too, but so far I just made white dots for this project. I was dotting away, enjoying the process, and I think I was listening to some nice music and getting ready to take my little dog Maggie for a walk outside because I was almost finished this project. I had some little white touches here and there. You might have a white pencil. It would do the same thing. White marker. No, you wouldn't have a white marker unless you have a white acrylic marker. There's a white acrylic marker, but it didn't do that well with this project either. I think it's a chalk marker. It sinks in. It works better on an acrylic surface if you've painted something with acrylic. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this project. Isn't it fun? So beautiful. Look at that. You could sit it up on a mantelpiece or on a piano. And that's the end of this one. Hope you had a good time. Bye for now.